a beautifully set ruin overlooking the River Shannon. This is Mount Pleasant House in County Clare. The house dates from 1720 when a Richard Berry built it. It's a very simple 2-storey 5-bay design, and it's facing south overlooking Scattery Island. Interestingly, the house has 2 corbelled additions at the front-facing corners on the 2nd floor. In terms of parkland, Mount Pleasant had a beautiful walled garden, as well as a folly. There was the traditional setup of a gate lodge at the entrance, and a tree-lined avenue leading all the way to the house. Leading you from the house towards the water was a garden path, and at the water's edge was a boathouse and jetty. This was an excellent area for fishing, and there would have been a salmon weir here. Archaeologically, to the east of the house is a barrow, an old burial mound which dates from the Iron Age. In 1799, a Joseph Cox purchased the Mount Pleasant estate. The townland here is known as Clarefield, and Joseph Cox built 3 more houses on the land. Built for family members, they were known as Cateville, Maryville, and Clarefield Cottage. The Cox family were very much in favour of the union between Ireland and England. This eventually led to their downfall after the Irish famine and during the land wars. They sold the estate in the early 1900s, and the land was then divided up between tenant farmers. The family moved to Kilkee, which is on the west coast of County Clare. The next owners of the house at Mount Pleasant were the Ronaldson family, who were Scottish, and they only lasted here until the 1930s. The family's decision to sell up was probably due to the unstable economic environment at the time. The Chambers family from Killimer purchased the house in the 1930s. Just like the Ronaldsons, they only had a short spell here, and the house was sold to a Michael Maguire in 1945. Maguire never lived in the house, and it was in a severe state of disrepair when it was once again sold in the 1970s. The man who purchased the house was a baron from Spain, and every summer in the 1970s he would host his very own version of Woodstock on the shores of the River Shannon. There would have been a sea of tents pitched in the field in front of Mount Pleasant House. The New Age hippie movement of the 1970s had arrived in Ireland.